Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Tara and this is my sister Casi.
Each morning we come together to give you guys our thoughts and opinion on the crypto market, and we are back today. Wednesday looks like another exciting day like yesterday, so I think we're just going to continue on with the excitement that's been built over the week. But I do want to point out that I know it takes a long time for us to edit these videos and get these out to you guys, but we are looking into a live solution. So we are looking into changing over to a live format. So I just wanted you guys to know that, but we want to make sure it's done right. So that's what the holdup is. And we're just trying to plan it all and make sure it's done really smoothly. We actually went live with a group, our Discord group that we had about 3 years ago, and it was a disaster, right, Tar?
Well, we thought it was a disaster. I mean, the information was good, but it just wasn't, it wasn't executed how we wanted it to be. So
yeah, I still have nightmares from that time going live. So I want us to be really prepared and I want it done well. And I think with technology that's evolved since then, we could definitely do a really smooth and nice job even live. So I want to make sure it's done right, but I wanted you guys to know that we are working on a solution and we totally understand that there's a delay of when we do our updates and when the final edited video comes out on YouTube. But I do provide quick charts and updates on Twitter, and Tara does as well. So follow us over on Twitter if you want more of those quicker updates, because we are able to provide those quicker on Twitter. So I just wanted to start the video off saying that. And then thank everyone for coming, because I feel like now we've been a few months doing this and these have just going really nicely. So I just wanted to thank everyone for coming and supporting us still through these and showing up to watch these. So I enjoy doing them and I hope you enjoy watching them. So yeah, thank you.
Yep. So I'm going to actually start on the Bitcoin chart, but I think, Cassie, I want to do the 4 hour possibly, because that daily time frame wasn't giving us enough context. I feel like it was almost like too broad and too general, where it wasn't really relative for that day's updates, and then when you go in, you'll be into the smaller time frame still. So here we are on Bitcoin on the 4 hour time frame, and this is that last high here when Bitcoin reached up around 72,000, and we're in the middle of this next correction. So it's really hard to tell, if this pump up here, at least from this view, if this was the 5th wave, just because this last pump up here did make almost a new high on that RSI. So it was really strong. So like we mentioned yesterday, usually we don't end on such high strength. We don't have that major reversal yet. So that means that this correction that we're in right now is going to be minimal. It's not going to reach those deeper correction levels. That's what we're working on right now. I believe that this has already completed wave A of that correction, and we're working on wave C of this wave B coming up here. I have measured out this wave B, which is landing right at our 118, around 70.5 or 70.6 or so up here. I've mentioned on Twitter that this is going to be our next critical level, and this is going to really determine if we're going to make a new high or continue on with this correction. So this 0.5 level here, when we come up to resist there, if it breaks up above this, it's likely that we're going to make a new high. But resisting here like it should means that we're going to come right back down to test the breakout here, and it's landing right at 67.8K. So this will be adjusted with whatever high it makes here. But if all of these hit their fib target perfectly, it's perfectly lining up with the major, the critical fib levels that we've had for a while now. So this is something that I'm watching for, is coming up to test this level here. And then I believe once it resists there, we're going to come down for a wave C down here to 67.8K. So I'm curious
Wait, so stay in this view a sec. So that would be a typical ABC, right down to that level. If it's doing a triangle, I see why you think it's A. If it's just forming a triangle now with that first leg already hitting target, that could change the pattern a little bit. I just want to point that out, that it could be doing a triangle for this 4th wave.
I feel like if it did a triangle though, this drop here would have been faster. It wouldn't have done a 5 wave.
It was a 5 wave, so
yeah,
I do see why you think ABC right now.
So like this was A, B, C, even of that wave B too. I feel like I think we could get one more pump up here. So I'm really curious to see what the subwaves look like here, to see if it is looking like a wave B or A and then B, because it's a little hard to tell on the zoomed out view. So I'm really curious to see if you can take us in further to see if this is forming a wave B and what you think about that zoomed into the subwaves.
Well, the only difference in the ABC to a 1, 2, 3 isn't much. So, and it
a
hasn't
1, 2,
really
3 what?
Like of a new wave of a 5 of the 5th wave up. Let me get zoomed in.
Okay, yeah.
All right, you guys, so we're a little bit more zoomed in here. This is the Bitcoin 1 hour, and this is a subwave 4 that we're tracking. And when I get zoomed in here, you can really see that there is clear 5 waves like Tara was just showing. So this does look like this could be an A of an ABC still of this wave 4. For now, it's holding above a 0.5 correction. If this does, you could say that this looks like a wave B here. So we're either still in this wave 4 coming down. So I'm just going to pull this down as a new low is made, if it makes a new low, or we're tracking the next exhausted subwave up to complete this wave 5. So it would be the 5th of the 5th wave here. And then, so this whole 5 wave structure would just be wave 1 of wave 3 that we've been tracking. So I'll get a little bit more zoomed out. This is our wave 3 that we're tracking with the first target at 74,600 or an extended target at 83,600 or even more extended, which you can see I have here. So this is our wave 3 that we're tracking, and this would be the first full wave of that. I do think we need to be careful because the larger trend is up. I think that we need to be careful really trying to find a full 5 wave, especially with the wave 2s. I don't know if we're going to get as deep of a wave 2 as we would normally expect. So we're going to be careful to watch the price action in RSI really tentatively at these targets here, because like we always say, breaking this with strength would not indicate a 5 wave or a wave 5. A wave 5 would be exhausted on the RSI and resisting. So
so right now, I believe when we come up, see how you have that red line there? That's around 70.5 or 70.6. I believe if it can't make it above that level, we're going to have a continued correction. And if it breaks up above that, then I think we can expect that 5th wave top, because that RSI isn't on, at least on the higher timeframes, it's not showing that bearish divergence. So because of that, I think that's because of that RSI, like the lack of divergence there, that's what's making us believe that we're going to have another high. But also, looking at the subwaves from a whole, it should have been the 5th wave. So it's kind of in the middle of that correction right now. We don't really know until we come up to test that 70.6K or so, because if it stays under that, that will be our wave B of this correction. And breaking above that means
a continue wave 4.
Yeah.
And then, so this wave 5 high would be completely invalidated if we start to break down below here. So that 67,000 area. So we're still tracking another high on Bitcoin as long as we're above in these local retraces here.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I just showed them on the 4 hour, the one extension for wave C of this correction does land at 67.8K. So zoomed in here on these smaller time frames, that will still validate this wave 4 because it won't break into wave 1 yet. That's something that we're going to have to obviously watch for, like going for the rest of the day today, is that resistance and then that last wave of this correction. And then we still can expect that wave 5 top.
If it does come down further, that just brings it down even more though. So it could be done. It could be done here at this 0.5. We have to watch this.
Yeah. We do. Yep. All right, let's get over to Ethereum then. Okay, so here we are on Ethereum, and I'm on the 4 hour time frame. I'm just going to put in our support levels coming down here because I don't believe I had them on this smaller time frame. And so because of this high here, when it made this pump up here, yesterday Casi took you in and showed you how this was almost like a textbook wave 3, and this came up and hit that 2618 extension right here. So right now we are looking for a wave 4 or some type of correction before we move on to another high. Typically, we would expect this 382 here at 3466. Look at the MA though, it's like almost pointing directly at our 236, and we are expecting some type of minimal retracement during this. Just because of how strong this was, I believe this correction could be minimal and we could continue on with this trend here going up, because it looks like there was, major volume, major strength here. So this trend definitely is going to continue in the future. So these two levels are what I'm eyeing, and I think that we're going to be supporting at this 3,600. Right now that 118 is sitting at 37.23 or so, and so we've mentioned before, breaking this down would mean lower support levels are going to be reached. So this is a level that we have to look out for, as well as breaking down 3,700, and then we can expect 3,600. So let's just have Casi zoom us in here and give you a closer look at what's going on.
Another thing to be said too is that 118 can sometimes be local support. So if this wave 3 were to just continue higher, this could be our point of support here. So I just wanted to point that out.
Definitely.
Yeah, so here we are zoomed in a little bit more on Ethereum 1 hour. And you can see the wave 4 that I put on our chart in yesterday's update. It hasn't made really significant action since then. This is that 2618 level that it reached for the wave 3. So that looks nice there. And I have just really the same targets that Tara has. We have the 382 at 3461, which is our textbook wave 4, but it's possible we do not come down for those retraces. So we have 3600 and then 3717. So right what you were saying, Tar. But we do have several alignment of degrees right at that 3461, 3500 area. And we don't have many subwaves right now to go off of. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to say at this point.
I think if Bitcoin does resist at that wave B, that's going to give Ethereum the chance to come down maybe just to the next Fibonacci level at that 236.
Yeah, I mean, even the subwaves are pretty unclear right now. So
yeah, it's looking strong. It looks like it wants to continue that bullish trend.
Yeah, we'll see at these levels. Because look at our RSI here.
Yeah, very bearish.
Yeah, and it's just holding the bearish trend, maybe possibly until we get down to these support levels here. So I think I did say in yesterday's update that we want to watch when the bottom RSI is reached and then the support level is reached. And you can see, obviously, we haven't done that yet. That's what I'm going to be looking for probably today, is as this comes down, when is our RSI support met here? And then are we at a significant fit at that time? So
All right, let's get over to XRP then. Okay, so here we are on XRP on the daily time frame, and XRP came up and it broke into the triangle yesterday, and it really needed to come down and test the bottom again as support, and it's now lost that as support again. So right now it's not too low of a drop, really. It's at that 236 retrace, and it's sitting almost right on it at 53 cents. And we've mentioned before that this bottom trend line and even this top trend line, they're very subjective, so it really can be moved with wherever you believe is the most significant on the past price action, basically. So even though it is almost above or below, it looks like it is below, it could just be right on that support. So keep in mind that we are pretty zoomed in, but in general we are keeping around the bottom of that triangle. It's just what I'm just trying to say is,
well, this daily hasn't closed yet. So
the daily hasn't closed yet. That's true, and we still have about 12 hours, it looks like, until it does close. So hopefully it does come back up a little bit. Because that triangle is subjective, these Fibonacci levels are not subjective. So we do have this 0.65 level here, which is where it's at right now, and then we have that 618 Fib level at 54 cents or 545. And so these are very critical. So right now it does look like it is supporting at our 6.5 retrace. And hopefully we could get back up above that 618 retrace, because it's very critical that we do. But either way, we are getting really close to the end of this triangle, meaning that we will have some type of movement coming here. And we believe it's going to be a major push up out of these entire correction levels as a whole. So like like I said, even though it broke down below it, it's not too significant, and it is holding around those levels at around 53 cents or 53.5 cents. So let's just have Cassie zoom us in here and see if she can get any further indication of what's going on.
Okay, guys, so here we are on the XRP 1 hour, and this is that break into the triangle that we had yesterday, that really exciting break. And you can see this is our test here now at the bottom. So since we're so zoomed in, I do still think this is considered like a test of this area, because as we zoom out, it'll just get cleaner and cleaner. But what we do want to see is obviously it break back into these prices. So I do think it is possible that we do.
Yeah.
It's really hard because there isn't very many waves to go off of, you know?
Yeah. It's very hard.
One thing to know is that right now, that with that drop down, it's testing the breakout, because you can see this is our breakout level here, where it was resistance, it broke out, and now hopefully it's support there. So I do think that we'll get our push back into the triangle. I know yesterday XRP was actually moving against Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin was coming down for its way forward, XRP was making its high. So it's a little bit moving inverse that way. I hope we get a push back into here, honestly. But
we
all
really
of these
need
levels,
that.
I was going to say, all these levels just continue to be significant. So the breakout point right now is at 0.53, which we already knew was significant. And then the next support is at 0.522, which was already that larger 6.5 area that we knew was significant. So I'm going to delete these local retraces because we have those identified.
They're just confirming what we already have.
Yeah, so there really isn't much to be said. I think that hopefully that would support off this bounce here, off this test. And we just continue to push back into here.
Maybe, Cass, maybe you can zoom out a little bit at, what do you think? Like, just show them from that huge view of like where we are, you know, because this is getting, you know, a bit ridiculous.
This is a cleaner chart. So you guys, this is the XRP weekly, and Bitfinex is one of the few charts that actually have the high here. So this is our clean triangle that we've been tracking, and you can see just how close we are to the apex. So we've been tracking this for a while. So depending on your perspective, a lot of people say XRP has, you know, been stable or not doing anything, or gets sold off every time it pumps. And that's true, but when you look at it technically, it's been in this massive triangle for 6 years since its all-time high. So our lawsuit came in here right at resistance. News is timed right at resistance. So we're gonna get a breakout soon of this massive triangle, which will send it to new all-time highs. So that is just no emotion, no hype. That is just basic TA. That's what's going to happen. I have targets upwards of $8 to $13, and those are just regular extensions and on the charts as extensions, and in my opinion, conservative. What I do want to say is perspective is really important. So this massive triangle that we've been tracking for so long, once this really does break up, I wouldn't be surprised if our perspective of that triangle changes to this, because we were tracking this triangle for so long, and it was so zoomed in, so massive in our perspective and scale that but once we made this massive breakout, just look how little this triangle and our life in this triangle changed in perspective. So I just want to put that in view, that this triangle is going to become just a blip in the chart, like this triangle. So I think that that's what we can expect. So $8 to $13, I think is conservative. It's on the charts already, but I think we could see a massive impulse out of here, especially with how long it's been consolidating. I think it could blow $8 to $13 out of the water. So yeah, we're almost out of time, and this is looking really, really good on XRP. So and then another thing to point out on this chart is just look how different of a picture and plan this triangle paints on Bitfinex versus other triangles on other exchanges. So this is a really clean triangle here, and we're just sitting right clear smack dab in the middle of this triangle. So this one is well within its triangle limits here, whereas like HTX is really fighting to get inside, and then Coinbase as well. So triangles are subjective, like you said, but its main purpose is to provide our significant support and resistance areas So if your triangle is on the chart or on the exchange you're trading on, that's what you should be doing. So
yeah,
this looks good on Bitfinex. This is really exciting. It's out of time.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, I think that's it for today's update. Thank you so much for watching, and we will be back tomorrow with another one.